We're recording. Good. Okay. Just need my broth. Welcome. I'm Daniela. This is Forme by Riviera, a new platform focusing on Pilates, integrative wellness, and self-concept. I wanted to hop on here to introduce myself and to share with you a bit of background behind this new platform, a bit of background on Pilates, on why is it so good for you, why it's so popular right now, questions, maybe answered some questions around what is classical, what is contemporary, is it worth going to a studio, is it worth doing it at home, all of these different things that are probably circling around. And also to go into what is integrative wellness, what is a self-concept practice, and why are all of these three different practices bundled up into one in here. So we're going to start with Pilates. Pilates, or Pilates, was invented by this wonderful man called Joseph Pilates. He was German, and he created this system for rehabilitation initially. There are some really incredible archival videos of him working with wounded soldiers. That's what he did. So he built a bed and he would rehabilitate with his whole system all of these wounded soldiers. And eventually he moved to New York, and his method became known because his studio was below a ballet company. So when all of the ballerinas needed any form of rehab or to work on their posture, their strength, they would go down to see Joseph Pilates. So that is how it became well known, and that is why now we think that it's a practice purely for women. It was fully developed by this man for the army. He was a professional boxer, so a lot of the practices that we're doing are to strengthen your core, strengthen your back, and to give you more flexibility. But it's not flexibility for the sake of it. It's mindful flexibility. So through strengthening, the whole premise is through strengthening your muscles and your core, and through really controlled, precise movements, you're actually allowing your body to move in the whole expression of itself, which is fantastic if it's fantastic for longevity, basically. So your health is mostly dictated through the flexibility of your spine. That's not the exact quote, but along those lines, those are my own words. So Pilates, Joseph Pilates invented this system based off from what he saw on animals, which is really interesting because if you look at the whole classical system, which is what he created, and we only know what he created through the teaching of this woman called Romana and other of his students that then went off to teach their own variations of his work. It's all based on natural movements that are repetitive and the body can achieve and repeat every single day to build inner strength and inner stability, which in the end it's really fascinating because everyone that loves Pilates is a creature of habits. We love predictability, we love habits, we love discipline, and this is what makes Pilates a really, really fascinating field to be in. which is why I love it. So through the history of Pilates, through the way that it was created and the way that it was taught, there really isn't a regulating body. There are different schools that teach their own different methods, and it all comes back to what Joseph Pilates invented, which, interestingly enough, happens to be one of the hardest practices to do. By the way, this isn't sponsored, but I wanted to share this with you guys because it's the best bone broth I have ever had, and I drink it with lime. So often it will be the first thing I take in the morning before doing exercise. It's really good for your gut. It's amazing for water retention, and it's really high in I don't remember the name. 1 second. Collagen. It's really high in collagen. It's amazing. I highly recommend it. Again, not sponsored, just love it. So, overall summary, what is Pilates? Pilates is a method of movement that has now taken different variations. There are different names to it, different schools of thought around it. But in the end, it all works to develop core strength with your deep core, not necessarily the outer layer, not just the outer layer, but also inside. It works your spine, your flexibility, all of these muscles that make you look good, but that in the end, if we're thinking long term, it gives you a lot more stability, a lot more range of movement. It's kind of like doing constant maintenance on your body to keep you as healthy and as active as possible. So in the end, it's more like going through the Pilates system so that you can go out into the world and live your best life, which I'm all about. I really love that way of looking at exercise. So yes. And Pilates in itself was created by a professional boxer and was invented for rehabilitation and for wounded soldiers. So with that, we basically know that we're working with a practice that is really precise. It is controlled movements, very specific movements that will develop your body to its optimal condition. So if you're a guy, don't think that Pilates is not for you. If you're a woman, this is not a gendered practice, obviously. Pilates is fantastic for everyone. In fact, men should be doing it a lot more because statistically, men tend to have tighter hips and tighter hamstrings than women. This has got to do because of biology, but also because culturally, women tend to do more flexy stuff. And it shouldn't be negated for men. So anyone, whatever body you have, Pilates is perfectly designed for your strength, for your stability, for mobility, for core strength, which is why it's so amazing.